James Carville had some things to say about AOC and her ideas on healthcare. Let's see what he had to say.
There's one part of the story that just irritates me to no end, and that is, well, James, okay, we got Marjorie Taylor Greene, but you got AOC. Stop. AOC is a talented, smart person who I think has some impractical, borderline naive ideas, like giving everybody health insurance. All right? She's a very talented person. Marjorie Taylor Greene is like literally out of her mind.
Well, that was quite interesting, was it? Let's get into it. This won't be a long video. So, I don't really know what the pretense of this conversation was. I just saw the clip. But it seems as though he was talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and how people were saying, well, okay, we have Marjorie Taylor Greene, but you guys have an AOC. And I guess he was kind of saying that the two aren't equatable. And that's completely true. You can't equate Marjorie Taylor Greene and AOC. They're like night and day. They're not the same whatsoever, even if you compare them to their relative parties. You know what I mean? Like, no, Marjorie Taylor Greene is an insane person who was like made in a factory. I don't know how this kind of person exists. I mean, it's still quite befuddling to me, but she's nothing like AOC. He's right there. But this is where it gets weird. He says AOC is a talented, smart person who I think has some impractical, borderline naive ideas like giving everybody health insurance. Let's take, can I have a moment of silence? Okay, moment over. Borderline naive ideas like giving everybody health insurance. Okay, well, let's go to France. They have a nationalized healthcare service. I think they have private practices, but it's publicly funded. That's the main thing. The NHS over in the UK, they if you go through different studies, they're ranked most of the time #1 in the world as it pertains to healthcare. And everything over there is nationalized. Everybody has health insurance. You go to literally any other developed country, Norway, Sweden, Australia, whatever. Every other developed country, they have universal health care. We're the only developed country without it. It's not a naive, borderline idea. Has he never been outside of America? This is so confusing. And you know, it's funny because there's a reason why these self-proclaimed centrist or democratic establishment types or people that like to toe the line for neoliberalism, there's a reason why they don't want to have an honest discussion about healthcare. There's a reason why they strawman you. There's a reason why they lie and say it's going to cost so much money when it in fact will save trillions of dollars. There's a reason why they push endless propaganda in order to get the public to think something that they otherwise wouldn't if you would tell them the truth, because it would get in the way of their funds. They are beholden to the health insurance companies and big pharma and all the pharmaceutical industries. And if we get rid of the mafia-like consurgency that basically rips people off in this country for their healthcare, they would lose a lot of their campaign funds and the money that they're pocketing as a result of this bullshit. We here in America pay the most for healthcare by far and away out of anybody else, but we have among the worst health outcomes. We're at the bottom of the list in terms of developed countries in terms of healthcare, but we pay the most for it. Tell me how that works out. Why is that a reality? But giving everybody health insurance is a naive idea. Well, according to the polls, it doesn't seem like it's so naive, because the polls show us otherwise, that the majority of people want universal health care. They want Medicare for all. See, things like this is why the Democrats lose. And this guy's supposed to be a veteran Democratic strategist. Says a lot, huh?